It is time for our Monday Soul Deliciousness. And so I had an event happen this past week that I am going to share with you because I think it has a lot of value. And um, crazy as it may seem, this has actually happened to me twice in the past year, which coming from a male dominated career field my entire life, I'm actually surprised that this is the first time that it has ever happened. However, I'm also going to caveat that with um, I love the careers that I've been in, and they've been fantastic experiences. But I'm going to tell you this because I wanted to be able to um, share my story about what happened because I keep noticing that in the situations that I keep getting into, that there's a lot of people that don't dare to speak up. And I definitely don't think that is, here we go. Hello. Hello, Fred. How are you? All right. So, um, Anita, I go live on Mondays and I'm actually talking tonight about an event that happened to me at my corporate job this week. And if you're new here, just a quick intro. My name is Amy Jorgensen. I own blockedemotions.com, which is an energy business that we focus on balancing mind, body, soul. And I also have a soul centered academy where I teach other people how to do that work for themselves and on others. You can become a certified practitioner if you want to meddle in the work that I do. But I also just like to go live on my bigger platform, my Honest Sassy Mama page, to share with you learnings of my life because I think that's what it's all about. It's all about helping each other raise to a higher cognitive level so that, when one of us progresses, we can all share that with everybody else. So here we go. This is what I'm going to talk to you about. As I mentioned, when I first started, yes, I have been in the military as a pilot. So my coworkers have always been the majority as the opposite gender. And I will say through my entire military career, I only came across a couple of people that I had friction with as far as working with them. But for the majority, um, the other pilots that I flew with were very respectful and very um, totally accepting of there being another gender in the airplane. So, fast forward to where I am now, working in a corporate position. I have now had in the past year 2 instances where there has been really inappropriate behavior going on in my workplace. And so I saw with the first incident the slippery slope that happens. And if you've ever been around anybody that is doing any kinds of negative behavior, it usually doesn't come right out. They start off like a little bit and then they gradually pull you in until the behavior almost seems normal and you don't really recognize that you're going through it. So sometimes if you look at somebody and you're like, whoa, how did you get into this narcissistic abusive relationship? A narcissist isn't like that when they first meet you. They're very kind and they're very showy, like a peacock. And then you get into a relationship with them and then starts the abuse cycle. They don't do that at first, or you would run away. They wait till you're attached to them and then their behavior starts. Well, same goes with sometimes people in the workplace. So we had this person that had joined our company, and at the beginning, he was just doing little tiny things that were kind of like, did he just rub up against me or was that an accident? Stuff like that, where you're like, the thing that he just said seemed a little off. But the more that he was there, the more he did it, and the more he basically got away with it because at the end, when all of this like came about, um, people were saying, "Well, that's just how he is," and so we accepted it. And then is what happened is it got really escalated, and something even more um, on a higher level, I guess we would say, happened. And so some of us went to the legal part of our corporation, and they did the right thing. They did a full-blown investigation, actually removed some people from my company that were involved in encouraging this behavior. And it was definitely one of those moments where I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. But I also want to add that there was a time when I brought the situation up to my HR, and he basically told me, well, I had made a comment, because it's really uncomfortable when you have to go to anybody with something like this. I don't want to lose my job. Like, I need my job, and speaking up comes with some fear that something can happen as far as how you're being treated. You don't want to be that person that's like, oh, well, every time something goes down, here comes Amy. But I had told my HR after I explained to him what was happening, and I said, I don't want to be fired for this. And his response was, you probably won't be. And for me, that's where like the inner dragon of me, I have this beautiful capability of being incredibly passionate and incredibly loving and incredibly professional. Like, I can fit my space that I'm in, but I'm also the type of person that when you do me wrong, I'm gonna pillage the village. I'm gonna basically light everything on fire, and there will be no survivors. And so when my HR person said that to me, I was like, oh yeah, no. And so I took it up to a higher level. And in fact, when all was said and done, he's actually the one that got fired. But I'm bringing this forward now because I just have to say, I love my company for doing the right thing. But this happened again. We had an outside contractor coming in to do something for the company. An outside contractor is somebody that we actually paid to come in. And my team and I were doing this 4-day interaction with this person. And there was a moment, like, just because I read people's energies and that's what I do outside of my corporate job, like, I knew right off. I was like, there is something not cool with this guy. Like, I'm picking up the vibration that, nope. And so as the days progressed, it just got worse. Like, he was making little comments. Like, at one point he told me that he made a really inappropriate comment about the part of this that I was involved with. And it was somewhat, I'm just going to use the word somewhat suicidal related. And while it might be sort of a slang term, when you don't know where someone's coming from, you probably shouldn't use words like shoot yourself in the face, go hang yourself, things like that. So we'll just say it might have been a phrase similar to that. And so I was like, wow, like, dude, you have no idea what I've been through in my life. You don't know that I haven't dealt with somebody doing that, or I've tried to do whatever. And so it just kind of progressed through that. And then there was a comment made to someone else that was there, a coworker, that was incredibly inappropriate, and it was very gender related. In fact, the person used the specific words of, if there wasn't a female here, or when I do this and there is a female here, then later I also found that he had her in a room alone. And so I think the mama in me came out, and I was like, yeah, no. So it continued on, and then another comment was made to the point where that's where I was like, we're done with this. And so I went to my leadership and I said, I really don't think we should allow this person back into our building, because he is inappropriate and he's making comments, and none of us deserve to be treated like that, no matter what it is, no matter what, it's your gender, it's your whatever, the flavor of ice cream you like. Honestly, it's just, in this day and age, it has no space. It has no place. So the reason that I wanted to bring this up is because this does fall into alignment with what I teach and with what I do. So here's the thing. There are certain people that are designed to speak up. That is their design. Their design is to be the voice. They are the ones that stand up for other people. They're the ones that are very direct with their communication. And then there are other people that are not designed to be speaking up. So here's the cool thing. When you realize that people come together and they complete each other, the people that don't have the voice, or that's not their nature to speak up, they actually can use a person who does have that ability to speak up for them. So in this situation, that's exactly what happened. My coworker, who tends to be My dogs are crazy. My coworker who tends to be a little bit more passive, a little bit more non-confrontational than me, that is not her comfort, right? So she's coming to me and saying, "Oh my gosh, this just happened." And I take that in my energy system and my what we call a channel. So my channel is to speak out. It's to speak out and to voice. So what did I do? Like I'm the one that voiced for her what had just happened. Otherwise, she probably would have never told anyone because she, just like many situations, she was afraid. She was afraid if she were to speak up, she didn't want to hurt our team. She didn't want to hurt the company. You guys are the most disruptive coworkers I have ever had in my life. She didn't want to have it look bad. When you're just faced with well, if I speak up, then everyone's going to think that, I'm creating problems. I'm rocking the boat, so to speak. So, here's the thing. Recognize that if that isn't you, and perhaps you don't feel comfortable speaking up, but you have something like this going on, then find someone that is a good energy fit for you that you can speak to that can help you get your voice out. And don't be afraid to be the person that is leading by example, because in both of these situations, I had multiple people come to me and say, "I just want you to know, I actually had someone's grandma, someone that I work with, their grandma came to me and said, I just want you to know how thankful I am that you brought this up because my daughter has been absolutely miserable being at work around this person." And so, that's what I wanted to come on here with today. I just wanted to tell you, like, regardless of whatever situation you're in, obviously I'm speaking for myself as a female um, that just went through this, but I get it. It happens to males too. It happens to people with different cultures, different race, whatever it is. It can even happen to people, on different educational levels, whatever it is. You don't need to tolerate it. Like be the voice that speaks up, because if you don't, then the behavior becomes acceptable, and then people think that they can get away with making snarky comments about, women do this whatever differently than men, or men do this differently, whatever it is. Just there's no place for it. So there you go. All right. So hopefully that helps you understand why sometimes um, other people need you. If you happen to have that active channel, they need you to speak up for them because they can't do it themselves. It's very much against their design. It causes them friction. It causes them frustration. It's very overwhelming. Um, you know, I always have people tell me, like, you're so good at confronting other people. That's my design. Like, I feel comfortable confronting somebody else. It's my nature. But there are other people that are like, yeah, I'll just, if somebody does me wrong, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm not gonna get into a confrontation where my design is all about being like, yo, I'm gonna hold you accountable because this is what you said. And that's not what you're doing. So if you say something and your behavior doesn't follow, I'm the type of person that has no problem pointing that out. All right, you guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Monday. I will see you next week, Monday, same time, same place, if I don't go live before then. And have a beautiful night.